Hello and welcome to the Catch a Lift Coaches Corner. I'm CAL coach and program director Melissa, and this week I'm honored to welcome retired Lieutenant Colonel Willie to the show. Willie is a VA employee and a CAL veteran athlete, so much more too. We're so excited to talk to you today. Willie, how are you doing? Welcome to the Coaches Corner.
Listen, thank you for having me on. It's an honor to be here, and I just thank you for accepting me in your program. This program has been a beautiful thing for me, so I just want to thank you for that.
Oh my gosh, it's our honor, Willie, to have you in the program and to have you on the Coaches Corner with us today. Let's jump right into it, Willie. Would you talk to us a little bit about your life growing up and what would ultimately lead you to the Army?
Well, I mean, I was I played college football, and it was basically a challenge that somebody gave me. I know I needed a little structure in my life, even though I was a good kid, but I just thought I needed a little structure. And then they had a ROTC program, and I thought that maybe I can, earn a scholarship with it, to get some money with it. But then when I found out that the obligations I had, I said, "Oh, never mind, you can keep it." You can keep it because
Yeah.
at that time I did not want to be active duty. I wanted to be, I wanted to work as a civilian and then do the reserve. So I wasn't, so until later I became active duty and active guard reserve. That's when I said, I should have did that in the beginning. But when you're young and dumb,
Oh yeah.
you do different things. So that's where I was. So
That's
and
very
it worked with me because being in shape for football as well as the military, you had to be in shape. So it was two things that worked hand in hand.
So what year or what time frame is this, Willie, then when you're coming in the military there?
Okay, yeah, I got in actually when I got commissioned was 1989. As soon as I graduated from Bowie in
Okay.
19 graduated from Bowie in 1989, and then that's when I got commissioned. So I actually had an early commission in '87. So I was just sitting around waiting. But so once I got my degree, then that's when I went into the military when I went to basic camp. For
Okay. Willie, what do you remember most about training up as a young soldier, as a young officer?
well, what you learn is you know and this is something that I already knew, because my father was a sergeant, in the military, and he called me a punk lieutenant, when I was coming up, and but one thing you knew is that the backbone of the military was the NCOs. So they can either make you or break you. You have some of those West Point guys think they know it all. They would go in there and they get their heads slung because because they think they know it all, and then you got
Right.
the sergeants that have all this experience, and if you come in there humble and just and say, look, Sergeant, I understand you've been here for a certain amount of years. I really respect what you do. You are the backbone, but I just want to learn from you. So if you
Yeah.
can please teach me, and I will be a willing participant, and I will just learn and ask questions and things. That if you come in like that, man, it ain't nobody that's gonna turn you down when you come in humble.
Right.
But when you come in braggatorious, you think you know it all, man. Woo. Seen a lot of people get their heads slung, and that's how people get
I'm
killed
sure.
when you do
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So,
Willie, talk to us about your early career. What would that look like for you?
well, my early career was a career of learning. And what I mean by that is a lot of people didn't think that I was going to be any further than a lieutenant because I was a hothead. So if somebody kind of crossed me, or I think they were doing it, I say, look, I'm not this guy, this rank. I said, we can, hey, just call me Willie. We go in the back and we can settle this thing real quick. So I was a little hot headed in the beginning. So somebody sat me down and said, listen, I'll tell you, if you want to become more than that, you're gonna have to learn to control your temper. So that was something that I had to learn to control, and then and
What
I was
if If
Go ahead.
if I may ask you, Willie, what kind of helped you with that? What kind of helped you kind of calm down or, kind of ease up on that hot-headedness a little bit?
Well, I mean, my faith in the Lord, Jesus, I had to, I knew that wasn't the Christian way to be, and at that time, because I got married early, my wife at that time, so it was a few things that didn't having, kids, will put you in a different light, because
Yeah.
if you continue to go that way, who knows, somebody can, do something, shoot you, and you're not there. So I know I had to be more responsible, and I had to be more, family oriented, So that's what got me. And the son just told me, he was real with me. He said, if you want to, succeed, and because you got a lot of talent and a lot of things that we could bring out here. If you want to succeed, you're gonna have to, tune your temper down. So it became easy, and it just became a habit, from that point on.
So what would come next for you, Willie? After you've kind of gotten your feet set in the military now, what would come next?
No, just working and learning, and learning how to be a dad, and growing, and going through, going through, trying to find myself, really going through different, sales jobs, and also growing in the military, because I was in a reserve, at that point,
Yep.
I was in a reserve. So then it came to a point where I said, you know what, I want to do this full time, and that's when I became AGR. And then from that point, I'll explain a little bit later. But I had a very interesting time during, when I was AGR. It was very learning and very humbling, and I really learned a lot. And and what I learned is, I they wanted me to go to Boston, and I was scared to death because I know I heard some people got ate up in Boston, and I did not want. I went fighting and kicking, because that's because I kept my family at home, and I
Okay.
knew it was a chance for us to deploy from there. And I said, man, and I had just deployed from before, so I decided to keep them at home. And then the funny thing is, I thought Boston was going to be terrible. Man, Boston was one of my best sites ever. They
Yeah.
treated me with so much. I mean, look, I didn't pay for half my food. Like we'd be in uniform eating out. They said, somebody else picked up your check. I mean,
Wow. Yeah.
it was Boston was it was eye opening, and then that's when I learned. I said, you never could judge a book by its cover. Always be open. And I learned a lot from Boston. It was one of my better duty stations, and I realized I love Boston. You know.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for telling us about that, Willie. Um, so like you told us, you came in the military, prior to 1990. Um, so by the time 9/11 would happen, you've been in the military for quite some period of time now. Would you talk to us a little bit, Willie, about how 9/11 would kind of either change your time in the military or even kind of your career projection?
Whew, yeah, 9/11 was interesting. 9/11 was I still remember that day. We were scared. You know, I know I was scared. I was like, man, what
Yeah.
the hell going on?
Yeah.
The building getting bombed, and so that gave you a lot of focus, and that's when and that's why when I decided to during that time period when I went to active guard reserve, when I was about to go there, because that's when they started deploying us. We were going to different locations. Like what we did was we got people's equipment ready, so we went all over the United States, or
Okay.
or wherever, Korea. We would go wherever, so we had to load things out, and we had to get units ready. So that's when we started traveling a lot, when I was away from the family a lot, because we had to go back and forth, because 9/11 we were getting soldiers ready, for to go to Iraq or Afghanistan.
Talk to us a little bit about that, Willie. What was that like, traveling around and having to be away from your family, moving all around during
And
that?
yeah, I mean, I missed so many milestones,
Yeah.
with my daughters, one of them that Kelly knows is Amber. With Amber, Aaliyah, Alexis, and it was hard on my wife. We ex-wife, but that was hard on my wife at that time. It was really hard, and I felt bad because once I got home, I felt like I missed a lot. But that was a time period where I was gone about 70 to 80% of the time.
Wow.
So that was so it was just per diem. You're living out different hotels and going here and going there, and that's just the way it was. Unfortunately, but that was a time that we was in because we were getting ready. We were ramping up. To ramping up. For the war that wasn't really a war, but we ramping up for that.
So kind of how long of a period of time would that be for you, Willie, living that way?
Oh, shoot. I mean, that was really from 2002 to 2008, 2009. I mean, it was like almost a six-year period, 7 years. Where would
your career take you from there, Willie?
That's what I went to, and this is where my career took a different path. Okay. So I was going to go from AGR to the Pentagon. Okay. Where I was going to make the switch to go to the Pentagon because I wanted to be able to get my top secret clearance. Because at that time, when I asked him, hey, can I get a top secret clearance? I wanted to get it. He said, it's a need to know. If you don't need to know, so they didn't, they weren't. And I knew that at that time that would make me more marketable when I came out. And I knew that would do some things for me. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it. So I was going out of one part of the AGR and I was going to go into the active duty at the Pentagon. But at that time, they found out that I had an oversized aorta. Okay. So at that time, when I had an oversized aorta, they really didn't know what to do with me. And they had, at that time, other captains and majors that had heart issues. And so then what happened is that left me out. I left one entity, then they didn't accept me there. And then I was left out in the cold. I was left out in the cold with no job. And what happened is that was a difficult time in my life because I had top blocks, for my military career. And when people look at my resume, I was trying to underemploy myself. People didn't want to take me because they said you wouldn't be staying. So I finally caught on, and then a couple of years later, I got back, where I went to Fort Belvoir, and I came again. But the unfortunate thing, when I came on there, because I worked at Fort Belvoir, and I joined another unit, I had missed my time because I was a lieutenant colonel, but I missed my time. I missed 3-4 years when I was out. By the time I got back in, I couldn't get promoted to a full bird because I missed 4 years. So there was nothing I could do. So I missed, so I was really, really disappointed at that time. And I was just like, are you kidding me? I had a chance to get my full bird, but unfortunately, because I missed 4 years, I didn't have a shot. Even though at least I got back in and finished out on top. So, I finally retired in 2016 from the Defense Logistics Agency. Where I worked there. As an officer. So, I learned something. But you know what? The way I look at it is this: if I didn't know I had an oversized aorta, listen. At that time, Melissa, I was a monster. I would bench almost 450, 500 pounds. I was a monster. I could have been lifting weights and had something, and I could have passed away, died because I didn't, So it was a blessing that I was able to find out, and then they find out that everything's treatable because for what I have to do, I have to get my aorta checked every year to make sure it don't grow, because if it grows a certain size, then you got to get operated on. So, but it's been a blessing. And that's why, coming into this program, because, unfortunately, during the pandemic, I became a little sluggish and lazy, and, didn't want to go anywhere, scared to do anything, didn't want to go to gym, didn't want to exercise.
Right.
And before you know it, I gained so many pounds, So,
Yeah.
uh, you know, but that's how it went for me. And
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your service to our great country, Willie. Truly. Um, Talk to us a little bit about what that transition was like for you after all of those years.
So in terms of transition from what to from what we're talking about from the military going back into the civilian again.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. It was good because at that time I had a second I had another shot where um I uh I got accepted into a voc rehab program. Okay. And what happened is I got a chance to go to school and I had options. I could have done transportation, which I know by the back of my hand, but I said, you know what? Not doing that. If they're going to pay for me to go to school, free, then I'm going to go for the upside. So that's when I decided to get into information systems slash cybersecurity. And I said that I said, all the thing that happened is I failed and then okay, but at least I tried. I didn't want to say what if.
Right.
So I was one of the a few people. I was one of two people that was not working in that field. And then my kids were scared from because I was going back to school, and I got kids that were going to Penn State, Emory University, and stuff like that. And I was telling them, listen, with me, I was working, two jobs at the time. I was going to school, plus taking care of my parents. Because I got a father who is in a wheelchair. So I was helping my mom out cutting his hair, give him a shower once a week or twice a week when I could,
Right.
get
Yep.
there. So my schedule was full and also doing work study. So, but I ended up in that program. I had a 3.93 average, which I it was nothing but God. It wasn't me, but he gave me what I needed and it was a blessing. I did well. I mean, it was a shocker to me too, because I didn't think, but I started, liking it. And so then at that time period, I started working at the VA when I was doing my internship. Okay. So when I got out, the guy who taught me when I was there, who was office manager there, he was leaving, going somewhere. And then, the lady who was the director of the center, she said, listen, I would like you to come here with us because you know it. And that's when I started dealing with the veterans, and I fell in love with the veterans. I said, man,
Okay. Yeah.
dealing with veterans is, it was cool. I mean, I knew what they were talking about because I did the same thing they did. We had a connection, and I thought that when I go into my first year of working the government, I want to be with people that I know,
Yeah.
and I knew that organization where I was, and we all got along. I said, you know what, I might as well start here. She wanted to offer me a job so I could be comfortable, then get to learn the ropes, and now I'm just starting to look where I'm going to look for positions in my field in information systems and cybersecurity. So I'm starting looking there, but that's why I wanted to get my year in, so
Yeah.
they can't fire me. So I'm unfireable. Unless you do something egregious, which I'm not going to do. So now it's time for me where I'm looking for another position. But I learned so much from this position. It's so busy that it made me a better overall person. That's going to be ready for any type of position that I will attain in the VA.
Oh, that's tremendous, Willie. That's tremendous. Talk to us a little bit more about like what you're currently doing there at the VA, Willie. What does that look like for you?
What it looks like for me is I run everything. I run everything in the office. Make sure everybody's in a place, what they're doing. I buy, I do purchase orders for everybody. I make sure that we're tight. For if we had an inspection, I make sure that everything is updated. With people for schools, for everything. Listen, I put my hands on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more busy than what you think, and it's just and then I also deal with the veterans. Like I'm the first face they see, so it's
Okay.
important, that I make them feel welcome.
Right.
You got people in different places. Some people you can see they're not there anymore. It's like you're looking through their eyes.
Right.
They've been through so much, so much hurt and pain, with the PTSD, with the sexual trauma things that ladies go through. That unfortunately, there's some of the gentlemen are putting these ladies through. So you just see all kinds of things, all kind of hurt coming in. And my job is to, when they come in, make them feel comfortable, make them feel like they're part of the family. And that's what I do. I've had conversations with them, even after they finish getting their counseling, when I talk to them for another 25 or 30 minutes, that we talk, so, we make sure that we connect with it. So basically, look, if I want to be a counselor, I can get into that too, because, that's something that I do well anyway.
Right.
But, it's just God's gift, to that, but, I want to do other things. But yeah, so it's really just it's all about the veterans. I mean, they are the most important people that come in that office. We got to make sure that we take care of them, that they feel comfortable, that they feel loved, that they feel that they can get better, and that's the thing that I like I said. So I'm the first face that they see when they come in the center, and it's so important because that first impression.
Oh, that's everything. That can be
Yeah,
literally everything.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's absolutely incredible. You're doing that, Willie. And I mean, I haven't had the pleasure yet to meet you in person, but from all of our, virtual communications, like I'm just thinking if I was that veteran standing there, to be greeted by you and how welcome I would feel. Would you talk to us a little bit, Willie, or, talk to veterans out there who are struggling to connect with the VA to kind of, either take that first step into the VA or maybe they've previously had kind of a poor experience. What would you say to these veterans, Willie?
I would say to the veterans, don't, first of all, you can't let one experience control the rest of your life,
Yeah,
because, it's just like when you talk to people in customer service, you get that one person who is not helpful,
yeah,
who is garbage, and they're garbage, and they don't know what they're talking about. And then you say, you know what, I'm just going to hang up and I'm going to call again. Then you get that other person that will take you from the beginning to end,
for sure.
and you got your people like that. I mean, because you got people down at the main VA who don't answer phones, and I've experienced that, one time where I had to come get me something. I rang the phone on purpose. I knew what I was doing. I was able to look in that office.
Yeah.
I saw them and they didn't answer the phone. So
Yeah.
when they did that, when I came in, I said, hey, why you didn't answer, and they were a little scared. They didn't know what to say. I
Yeah,
said,
I
I
bet.
saw you and you didn't answer the phone. I said, that is the wrong answer, and, I ripped them a new one.
Yeah.
And, of course I got taken care of, but I'm just saying, but it shouldn't
Right.
never be that way. You should always, when somebody calls, you answer the phone and you deal with that person. And like I said, you, Michael Jordan. People always wanted to know why Michael Jordan, and he wasn't my favorite player, but I did respect this about him, and he was the greatest player. So don't get me wrong. I just hated on him, when he
Yeah.
played. But Michael Jordan said that the reason why he always dressed in suits because he never knew if it was their first time seeing him. You know, he wanted to make an impression on it. He wanted to make just why he played so hard is when people pay their money, I want to give them the best. That's what we have to do. When we deal with veterans, give the best that you can give because this is a thing, and this has happened in some cases. You never know when that veteran who has got PTSD that's thinking about taking his life,
Right.
and
Yes.
you say something to him that make him feel welcome, that think he has a chance. Because there's been a couple of cases where people have talked about where they've even said that the veteran said he was going to take his life, but he talked to that person
Yeah.
that he could trust, and that's who he wanted to talk to. So it could be when you're dealing with veterans and PTSD, and then that's mental health illness. That
Right.
person, the way you deal with that person, can be a life that you can save. So
Oh,
you always want to put your best foot forward at all times.
absolutely. Absolutely. Willie, how can veterans find out more about the services that are available to them through the VA?
One thing that they could do is you have something that's called eligibility enrollment that you have for the VA. Call that line, and this is where you know what services you are qualified for. You
Okay.
know, and then when you find out what services you're qualified for, it's up to the veteran or their spouse or somebody to take advantage of it. I mean,
Yeah.
because it's there. When you
Yep.
have stuff that's there, if you don't take advantage of it, it's like if you got a loaded gun and if somebody steal from your house, but you didn't use that loaded gun to stop them or whatever. What good is that gun going to do to you? So you got
Right.
to be able to use your weaponry, whatever you have there. Because you got the tools are there to get help. If you want to get help, and
Absolutely.
do you have the right people that's talking to you, and so that's what you got to do. But it's
Thank
there.
you.
I mean, everything is there, and just understand this: you're gonna have some people that are doo-doo in the VA, but you're gonna have other
Right.
people like myself and other people that want to take care of you. So don't let one bad experience, deter you. You know, you got to keep fighting.
Absolutely. Willie, what does it mean to you to know that you're having this impact on your brothers and sisters every day with what you're doing now at the VA?
Oh, it means everything. I mean, it means everything. But all I'm doing is just giving what God has given me, as a talent. And because I know I have been there where I was at this point, and I will share this story, and I don't care. I had at one point when I told you, when I was with that job, I was divorced. And that's when I got in this voc rehab program, Melissa. I was 41,000 behind in arrears in my mortgage. 41,000. Okay. What happened? And I was scared that every noise I heard, I thought they was about to kick us out of the house.
Right,
I thought
right.
they
I'm
were
sure.
going to
I'm
kick me out of the
sure.
house. But what happened is, there was a guy that I forgot his name, but he was a guy at the mortgage company. Because I called him, I said, "Look, man, I'm going to get that money back." And he said, "Listen," it was like he was an angel. He said they're not going to keep. For some reason, they still had me on active duty. They still had me on active duty. That was the one reason why they didn't kick me out of the house,
Mm,
because
wow.
they had me on active duty. So then, what happened in 2018? They they said, "Look, if you because I they said if you pay us 3 straight months, you know, we will forgive what you owed." You know, so I said, "Shoot," and then at that time, that's when I was broken. When I went in and I was almost crying, going to the guy, and that's when the guy, he was a counselor. He said, "Look, we're gonna get you back together." He said, "We're gonna get you." That's when I found out about the voc rehab program. That's when things got on my feet. Listen, and the
Yeah.
Lord worked it from there. And
Oh,
it's
that's
been,
incredible.
so it's and I just tell people, listen, man, God, listen, God, listen, God changed me. I was broken, I was humbled, but he got me back on my feet, and then I've been flying since then. That's why I had no fear. That's why I said, you know what, I'm not going to do the easy program. I'm going to cybersecurity. I'm going to
That's
information
awesome.
systems. You know what I mean? I got nothing
That
to
is
lose.
awesome. Yeah.
I got nothing to lose. You know what? God took me through this, got me through this. I'm gonna go for everything that I do. So that's the way I've been going. God has been the central of everything for me. It's been a blessing, including the program that I'm in with you guys. So it's been an awesome ride.
That's an absolutely beautiful testament, Willie. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I think this is a good point to transition to that. Let's talk about Catch a Lift in this program. Willie, how did you learn about Catch a Lift to begin with? How did you find us?
Yeah, and see, and this is the part that this is the funny part, because I told Callie that the first time I applied, I didn't hear anything. Nobody got back in touch with me. So I heard that the VA was talking about Catch Level. A couple of people were talking about it, and this girl named Mary Kay. She works at she's the office manager for Elkton, or she used to be. But she said, "Look, she said." So she knew somebody, one of the people there that got in touch with him. Then that's how y'all got in touch with me. And see,
Okay.
that's what I mean about first impressions. If I would have gone off because y'all the guys didn't get in touch with me in the beginning,
Right.
and then I said, okay, fine. They did that, but then once I started talking to you guys, man, y'all started whipping me in this program. Y'all got me up. Hey, I need to get this from you, get that from you. I mean, it was listen. That's why I say you can't go by, first impressions, because I had a bad experience in the beginning. Then once I started talking to people and I talked to shoot, man, from that point
Yeah.
on, it's been a beautiful thing, So And and I credit you guys because even if, of course, there's some things I can't do. These headstands on the wall and all that crazy. Look, I ain't doing it. My brother
Coach
ain't doing
Rudder,
that.
Coach Rudder and
Yeah,
her handstand push-ups.
yeah. I said, look, and see, and that's another thing. I ain't got no excuses. Coach has, artificial leg or whatever. Listen, I got no excuses. So when I look at her and the way Coach Rudder has been to me, has been inspirational, been a blessing to me.
Yeah.
But if I was a little down, she's encouraged me, and it's and regardless if you don't use all the exercises, the point that this got me is it got me to get active again. It got me to get
Yeah.
active again, and it got me to learn about nutrition. I didn't know what a carbohydrate was. I didn't know what, protein and all that stuff and stuff. So
Right.
now, so just like, I'm moving my girl's house, so I told Coach, listen, I got to give her 1 day a week. Look, that's the day I ain't exercising. So,
Yep.
but I went to Bonefish Grill. So instead of me eating, I used to eat bread and all that kind of stuff. I cut out all bread, I would eat some. Look, I'm gonna eat a piece of cake every once in a while. If I'm working hard like this, I'm gonna eat a little cake. If somebody offer it to me. But so but when I eat, instead of me eating, I used to eat bread and all this kind of stuff, the potatoes. I would get the fish or whatever it is, the meat, and I'll get 2 vegetables. I said no, I don't want
Yep.
that. No bread. Just give me the 2 vegetables. So just and then just changing habits, and also I'm drinking mostly water. I would do once a week where I drink a soda. I tell her, I said, look, this is my soda day. I'm getting one
Yep.
soda a week where I'm going to treat myself, and and I'm going to tell you, when you cut out all sugars, when you taste a soda, I'm like, this is good. When you taste a mint, when you taste a mint, I used to eat candy every day, like chocolate. So I cut out all that, so when you eat, like when you suck them, I mean, like you said, man, does this mint got special power? This
Yeah.
mint is
Right.
so good, because you're not eating chocolate, and so it's you have a but now nutrition. A lot of fruit, a lot of vegetables. You try to eat the meat there, so it's just you like wow, and then when you cut out all the juices, that's why, like I said, 36 pounds in 6 weeks, because you're cutting
That's
out a lot of
yeah.
stuff.
That's
And
that's
then,
absolutely that's absolutely incredible though, Willie. Like you have done absolutely tremendous like that 36 pounds in 6 weeks. Like absolutely tremendous. And it's a testament to how disciplined you've been and how consistent, right? We talked about that a little bit before we started today, right? Just that consistency, and right, you're still like, you have your pop once a week, or you have your cheat meal, but you know what? So you're 6 weeks into the wellness program. It's an 8-week program. What are you looking forward to kind of these last 2 weeks in your wellness program with Coach Rudder?
yeah, well, first of all, Coach Rose she's a funny rascal, so I always like her.
Funny rascal. I love it. I love
She,
it.
yeah, she's listen, I told her, I said, look, she knows she's my girl. I mean, I love Coach Rudder, and I love what she stands for. But what I'm looking see, I have a goal, because see what it is, because look, see what people don't understand that I'm doing. I'm going to the gym 1:30 in the morning,
Ooh,
and I'm getting
ooh,
3 hours
ooh.
of sleep. You follow what I'm saying? Because
Good
I'm
night.
not trying to be in there in COVID peak,
Yeah,
at the gym. So
right.
that's why it's important that I'm trying to get, because you have it where you will get a grant, so I could get a machine. I want to get a elliptical machine at my house,
Yep.
where if I don't want to go to the gym no more and at
Yep.
3 o'clock in the morning or something, I can do stuff at the house and do it, so I want to have that option.
For
So
sure.
that's the thing that's also a motivator. I want to be deemed worthy to get a grant so I could get a elliptical machine at my house. So that's another thing that's driving me, that I want to,
Yeah.
continue to lose this weight. And like I said, my milestone this week is, because I was at 338 to start out with. I'm at 30, the last way 302. Hopefully I'm like 298. I want to drop
Oh,
past
heck
the
yeah.
300 pound zone, so I got different milestones that I want to get, and I'm just going to keep this ball rolling. And but once you start, and then people start seeing it, then you see it in your face.
Yes.
You
Yep.
look, you're like, oh man, and people that
Yeah.
haven't seen you in a while, they're like, man, what the heck, because I also see this is another thing. I also do security. So see, my time is that's why I say I don't want to hear no excuses from nobody.
Yeah. Yep.
I work full time at the VA, over 40 something hours there, and I work 33 hours on the weekend.
Oh
My
my
schedule is
gosh.
like this.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't be at your I couldn't be at the museum,
Yeah. Yep.
because I also do fantasy football where I get paid for that, where I do podcasts. So I had a podcast that night, but this is my schedule. I do security at it's a place that's called Caves Valley. This is a place where Barack Obama is a member. The membership is $125,000. So, and then the homes that the golf course is on where they held the major, um, it's like I said, the homes that are on there are anywhere from 15 to 25 million a pop. So it's high security that's
Yeah.
there. So I work from 10:30 to 7 in the morning. I will come back in 3 o'clock that day and work from 3 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning. So that's 16 hours. And then I come back in, I work from 3 to 11. So I'm working 31 hours. I've really got 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, for
So if
sure.
I'm doing that, so on Saturday and Sunday, just like I told Coach Rudder, the only thing I'm doing is just cardiovascular,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
I got to be able to get to, so that's my schedule. So if I can do it on a schedule that I'm
For
on,
sure.
anybody could do it. I don't want no excuses, and so
I
that's
love
why
that. Yeah.
that's why when I saw Coach Rudder and I saw what she was dealing with and what she did, I said, ain't no excuses for me, so I got to make this thing happen.
Oh
So.
man. Heck yeah, that's so awesome, Willie. And we've all just been so excited watching your journey, and we're so excited to continue to watch it. I'm super pumped to see you finish out this last 2 weeks strong and move on for that grant into home equipment, because that's going to be, I can't even imagine how valuable that's going to be in real time to your life. Willie, I do have one last question I want to ask you here tonight. What does it mean to you, Willie, to be a Catch a Lift Fund veteran athlete?
It means everything, because it means that you've been successful. So it also means that you have a community of people that are trying to get better. And it means a lot. I mean, you look at what you've done, to start this program. I mean, what you've been through in your life, and how everything got started. It all starts from you, and it all starts from what y'all done, and then you got the coaches that you got in place. So you got people that are willing to help you out at any time, any night. They say, look, just call, just text, let me know what you need. If you don't understand the exercise, they will explain it to you. Hey, this is the alternative. But they know I ain't doing no damn headstands or no damn wall. That ain't happening. So what's the alternative? So
Yeah.
And it's flexibility. I just incorporate what I've done, when I was an athlete in football to that, so I do your workout, then I do my workout, so that's, it's just, so, but that's what it means. It means that we're all family. I mean, just now I look from the first week to the 6th week. I'm like, wow, I'm 6 weeks in. I'm almost out this
Right?
program.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, good grief. Like, you've got a short 2 weeks left here, Willie.
Yeah, but it's been enjoyable. And when you
Good.
see your weight loss and the fact that now, because without a map, how you going to get where you're going to go?
Exactly.
So
Yep.
when you weigh in, that's how you find out to see where you are and how you progress. And the program is phenomenal, and it's changed my life. And that's what I told you in the beginning. I said, listen, I need to change my life, because the way my health was going, being at 338. You could be and then I also have oversized aorta. Come on, man. That's I want to be here for my daughter's grandchildren,
Yeah.
and things of that nature. So I knew I had to change my life. I knew I had to change, and I can't wait to talk to my nutritionist that I deal with at the VA, because she don't know that. This is all, I haven't talked to her in 6 weeks. So when she finally got,
she's gonna be excited.
Yeah, so it's so that's why this program that you have, it breathes life into people. Where I see some phenomenal stories. For everybody got their story, And I see people in my group, and Rudder's group that, phenomenal stories. So it's been a blessing. It's definitely been a blessing to me, so.
Well, we are blessed to have you a part of the Catch a Lift family, Willie. That's it for this week's episode of Coach's Corner. We will return next Wednesday at 1 Eastern Time with another episode. Thank you so much, Willie, for coming on today, sharing your story and your light with us all. It was absolutely tremendous. Thank you to ID Technologies for your support of this Catch a Lift Fun Coach's Corner podcast. A huge thank you to Lynn Coughlin, Henry Pomper, and Kaylee Nasiri for all the work you do to make this podcast possible week after week. And we thank the entire Catch a Lift team. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday live at 1 p.m. Eastern on YouTube for a chance to win Cal swag and to chat with your brothers and sisters. Until next week, keep it real and stay Cal strong.